Hi everybody, I'm coming today with another journal flip through. This is a really cool notebook that was gifted to me by my wonderful, amazing benefactor. And it is a hand-stitched, I believe it's called Coptic, hand-stitched book from Etsy. And the business is, or it's called YF Binding, and it's a Yuyo 68 GSM Tomoe river paper, Coptic stitch, yes. It's made in Kansas, and this notebook right here retails for $57.99. This is definitely not a notebook that I would have bought for myself. It's priced it's Tomoe river paper, and it's a lot of paper, but it's not really a notebook that I would buy for myself because it's rather spendy. It's hardbound, and if you go on Etsy and you look up Yuyo, you'll be able to find the seller. You can also look up this listing right here, 6199495528. And that will bring you to the exact listing of this notebook. So I was in this notebook from July 28th, from my birthday, all the way to October the 10th. And that's a long time for me to be in a notebook. And I wrote up here, one of the best journals I've ever written in, which is very true. This is a picture of me from my birthday when I went in to see my friend Jess at Tomoe, and my daughters had bought me a bottle of Ferris Wheel Press Green with Curiosity ink, and so it was really nice of them. And I actually, reason why it took me so long to write through this is not because, well, there's a bazillion pages, but also because I was going through some depression while I was working through this journal. And so sometimes I would write and sometimes I wouldn't. I would go for days without writing. I just didn't have the energy. So this was my pen and ink log for it. And like I said, this is really beautiful, wonderful Tomoe river paper, and it's so soft, and it's stitched so nicely too. Like if you look here, you can see the little teeny weeny marks where the stitches go through, but none of the paper in here fell out. Nothing. It was nothing. This notebook was just like all good things. Let's fix this a little bit. Here we go. So you'll notice that there's another picture from my birthday, but in the beginnings of this notebook, it's just long form writing. I take that back. Some of these pages didn't want to come out in the beginning, and that was my fault. Because I think I ripped out a page for some reason. So I had to put those back in. Like, this notebook was so nice. The sheen and shimmer on different inks was so, you were able to see it very well. It made my sheening inks quite enjoyable to write with. And shimmer inks, which I don't have a lot of shimmer inks, but the ones I do have, it was my mother-in-law bought me Lotto to try and cheer me up. Spoiler, we didn't win. We never win. I don't really think Lotto is it's really not something I do. But as you can see, a lot of this, we went to Tennessee to look at a house, and we obviously did not end up getting it. This was my girls at the mall They were writing one of those writing things, and I followed them all over, taking a video of them. So I did the thing where I write with one ink for like 2, maybe 4 pages, and then, you know, moved on to another ink. This is a sweater that a pattern, the picture of the pattern that I wanted to complete. And then this is my finished completed sweater. So that was nice. It was nice to finish a big project for myself. And it only took me about a week and a half to do. This is when I got Ferris wheel press buttered popcorn, and I was really enjoying it. And this right here is when my daughter Emmy started knitting a scarf for my granddaughter Evelyn. And so we had to mark that occasion. She picked up knitting really, really quickly. She's been working on that scarf for quite some time, and she gets frustrated with it because I keep telling her it's still not long enough. When we were in Tennessee, we went to this place called Rock City, and it was way, 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 way up high in the mountains, which I am not really a fan of heights. But we went there and walked through it, and it was a nice experience. My family stood on the suspension bridge, or the rope bridge, or whatever, while I stood over on the rock bridge and took a picture of them, because I was not going over there. And you can see some days I only wrote just a little bit. Some days I wrote a lot more than others. Like this one was just this page, and there. Then the next day was here. Some days I did not write at all. I just didn't have the energy or the strength. I literally laid in bed and did nothing. I really enjoyed using buttered popcorn on this journal, on these papers. Actually, I really enjoyed all my inks in this notebook. I really enjoyed this notebook, period. Even though I didn't, you know, even though it took me a long time to go through, I felt really nice about taking my time with it. This was a wreath that my daughters and I made. We got the wreath form and all this stuff, and we put it all together, and we made that really nice wreath to decorate the inside of my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house. I kind of went overboard on decorating for fall, just because I thought it would help me feel better. And it did a little bit, seeing the fall decorations. But ultimately, nothing really helped. I mean, there's the enjoyment and the release that I get from stream of conscious journaling and using my pens and inks, and definitely writing on wonderful paper. But if you've ever experienced depression before, you know that joy like that, like you can find in a cup of coffee and or that sheening, or a cup of tea. Like those kind of joys are the simple little joys that you have to take and really hold on to, because sometimes that's the only joy you get, the only happiness. I used my Pilot Custom 823 a lot in this journal with the same ink, which is Ferris wheel press Peter Moss. That was the pen and ink that I used the most in here. I don't remember what that sticker is about. Well, I mentioned in here how I made some oh, it was from a chocolate coin for Halloween. I made a note in here about how I had made some progress on my novel. And then I was reading The Hobbit here, which I've read many, many times. but one of my favorite quotes is from Thorin Oakenshield: "If more people valued home before gold, then the world would be a merrier place for it." One of my favoriteest quotes ever. And then, of course, Galadriel: "For the time will soon come when hobbits will shape the fortunes of all." I'm still waiting for that time. I went to see mountains again, Gandalf Mountains, and then find somewhere quiet so I can finish my book. This is ancient copper. But as you can see, the majority of this book is literally just writing. I think this is where I started putting in some of my pictures that I print out from Pinterest. And I'd sort of try to tie in pictures of like writing and stuff like that when I'm doing actual work on my novel. I try to. Here I was talking about the 4 different books I was reading: The Hidden Life of Trees, World of Wonders, Summer on Blossom Street, which was meant to just be like a light-hearted, easy read for me. And then I'm also reading Sapiens. My book list that I'm currently reading now is a little bit different. More Peter Moss. This was Wonderland in Coral, and not my favorite ink. And more work on my novel. I'm about 67,000 words into my novel. Yeah, so I was hoping to be done with my novel by the end of the year, but I don't know if I will be. I'm trying, but I just don't know that I will. There's some things when you're writing a novel that you just can't rush. Like some people talk about sitting down with your novel every day and making it work. Well, for me, that doesn't work, because some days my depression lets me work and other days not so much. I've been knitting a lot of kitchen towels for our kitchen whenever we have one. Again, I don't know why it's comforting for me to knit these big, huge tea towels for whenever we have our kitchen. I don't know why, but it's just something I've been doing. I think I have like 8 or 9 of them knitted, and they're like 22 inches by 16 inches. They're really big, because really and truly that's what I need more of, is kitchen towels. And that's another little picture, because that's just what I've been doing. I have another one I'm knitting right now, and I don't know why. It makes me feel like I'm doing something to be productive for whenever we get our own place. Just a lot of writing. I just really loved this notebook. This is a notebook that I would love to be able to get myself another one. It is quite spendy though, and I don't really know that we have, or that I have the disposable income to do that. So I am so grateful that this wonderful lady sent me this notebook. She sent me so many notebooks that I'll be reviewing and flipping through, for the next year. And I'm just so grateful for just everything that she sent me. And this wonderful notebook was one of them. We went on a little week-long thing with my in-laws to a an Airbnb in North Carolina, in a city or whatever, where they want to live, where they eventually want to have a house near Cherokee. Is that North Carolina or South Carolina? I don't remember. We went to a place called Kirkland's Campground, and each one of my girls caught a big, huge bass. So we were marked that day. I didn't put a lot of pictures in here just because I just really enjoy, when I'm really enjoying paper, I like to just use it for writing as much as possible. But here in the end, I did add more pictures in because I missed seeing them. Mainly the reason why I add pictures from Pinterest in is because sometimes I just wish I could, you know, crawl into the pages and through the lines and just kind of like sit in those pictures and marinate and just live in those pictures. Kind of a form of escapism, I guess. Pen leaked. And a little bumblebee picture to match my ink. And this cute little picture of a kitten laying in a leaf. That's adorable. Oh yeah, this was a backpack that I found. Was trying to find an inexpensive yellow, or not yellow, but inexpensive, you know, backpack to use as my purse kind of thing. And I found a backpack on clearance for $7.50 at Target, and so that was pretty exciting for me. This right here, I was talking about how I read something about ADHD that really hit home, and it made me see that I'm not alone. And it was about a woman and a cough drop. And so a woman with ADHD, she gets in her car and she notices that there's a single cough drop on the dashboard, and she makes a mental note to throw it away when she stops for gas. And so she stops for gas and gets out and pays for her gas, and then forgets about the cough drop. And she's like, oh, it's okay, I'll throw it away when I get to work. So she gets to work, forgets about the cough drop, and then sees the cough drop again when she comes out of work. And she's like, oh, I can't believe I forgot to throw that away. I'll throw it away when I get home. She gets home and completely forgets about the cough drop, goes inside, spends the rest of her evening, comes out, and the next morning with her husband, and they're going somewhere, and she sees the cough drop again, and then she just breaks out into tears, because that's what ADHD is like. Or that's just one little facet of ADHD, is having the intention and the mindset to do something, but then constantly being distracted and forgetting, and then looking back as an adult and saying, why can't I do these things? What is wrong with me? Why can't I focus? Why can't I just put one foot ahead of the other and one step at a time? And why can't I do the normal things that other adults do? So that was really interesting to me, and so I wrote that in there. And I got my first broad nib fountain pen, which was a Jinhao 159, which actually just writes like a medium nib. I got it so I could use shimmer inks, and then I realized I don't like shimmer inks. Yeah, I've been using up these washi stickers, so I am out of these now. Actually, no, I'm not out of the yellow ones. The lady who sent me the pens and inks and notebooks, she sent me another small pack of these yellow ones, which I'm quite happy about because they're my favorite out of all the ones that I used. And this was my last pages, and I usually leave my last couple of pages blank so I can write thoughts and things about them when I come back and I reread my journals later. So I did not count, but I believe this book has around 365 pages in it, and it was such a joy to write in. I enjoyed every single minute of this book, and it didn't bother me that it took me so long. It actually made me feel really good about it, taking it a long time because of the cost of the notebook. So I felt like I got more from it by it, you know, taking me longer to finish. It definitely encouraged me to really try to enjoy my notebooks more. She gave me a lot of really great notebooks, like high quality notebooks, and so it's so silly, but I started, after this one, I started using up the cheaper, or trying to use up the cheaper notebooks that I have, so that I get those all done. So then I just have, you know, the glorious notebooks left. And after I finished this notebook, I moved on to a plain red moleskin that I didn't like. And I will do this flip through next. But I just used it up because it was on my shelf and it was part of my stash. And I kind of feel like I need to do like one really nice notebook and then use up one of my cheap ones, and then do one really nice notebook and use up one of my cheap ones. And I am quickly running out of the cheap ones. So then I'll just have all the really nice ones that she gave me. And I will write through them and then do the flip throughs and review each one of them for you over time. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Again, if you are interested in this notebook, and it kind of, remember that it has like the paint splatters on the edges when you go and look in Etsy. It is a Yuyo 68 GSM Tomoe River Paper Coptic Stitch, made in Kansas by YF Binding, and $57.99, but it was worth every penny to me. And there are other Tomoe River Paper notebooks out there on Etsy that are priced very similarly, and people just eat those up all the time. So I feel like maybe this is a notebook, you know, brand on there that maybe is overlooked sometimes because of the Coptic stitch. But I really enjoyed this. It laid flat the whole time I used it, and the paper was just a joy to write on. So definitely check this notebook out. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did and you would like to help support my channel, I would encourage you to visit my Ko-Fi link in the description below. You can leave a tip in the tip jar of any amount if I have made your day, or if I just gave you something new to think about, or if you enjoyed my video at all. I would really appreciate it. Everything that you donate goes right back into the channel. And otherwise, I just thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your support, even during the time when I wasn't filming and uploading videos because of depression. I'm sure I will snap out of it. That's part of bipolar disorder, is having really low lows and then coming back up to highs. So it's been several months of being low, so I am sure I'm due for, well, I've had a few episodes of hypomania, and one episode of mania, but hopefully I'm due to come out of this depression. Maybe soon. Maybe it won't even happen until we just get our own space. Who knows? I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.